Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute roller coaster that is the life and career of Vinícius Júnior. We're talking about a guy who has literally captured the world's attention, and not just with his insane footwork on the pitch, but with his sheer resilience off it. Okay, let's just kick things off with this mind-blowing number. 39.6 million pounds. That was the unbelievable price tag slapped on him by Real Madrid back in 2017. To put that into perspective, Vinícius was just a 16-year-old kid in Brazil at the time. Wild, right? Here is how we're going to break it all down today. We'll cover the teenage prodigy emerges, evolving under Carlo Ancelotti, the shadow of Neymar, leading the national team, and finally, a legacy beyond football. All right, part one, the teenage prodigy emerges. Let's start with where it all began. To really get Vinícius, you have to look at his roots in the rough urban sprawl of São Gonçalo, just across the bay from Rio de Janeiro. Try to imagine the sheer, crushing weight of expectations placed on this kid's shoulders. Real Madrid paid that massive fee, making him the second most expensive signing from the Brazilian league ever at the time, behind only Neymar. And get this, when that deal was struck, he had played exactly one senior professional game for Flamengo. He literally made his debut just 10 days prior.
Moving right along to part two, evolving under Carlo Ancelotti.
When he officially arrived in Madrid in 2018 to step into the massive void left by Cristiano Ronaldo, reality hit pretty hard. His early days were rough. By the 2018-2019 season, he suffered a grueling torn lateral knee ligament, forcing him to miss 59 days and 9 games. Critics even mocked him for missing simple finishes. But he survived that adversity. Fast forward to 2022, and he's sneaking into the area to score the winning goal against Liverpool, handing Real Madrid their record 14th European Cup. Talk about a comeback.
Now, this is where things get super interesting. The return of coach Carlo Ancelotti completely flipped the script for him, turning him from a rough diamond into an absolute elite attacker. Look at the difference here. Across 3 full seasons before Ancelotti arrived, Vinícius scored a total of 14 goals. But Ancelotti convinced him to play more inside as a central striker. The result? 22 goals in their first season together and 23 the next. It's night and day. And this incredible evolution really peaked during his stellar 2025-2026 La Liga campaign. In 36 appearances for Madrid, he racked up 21 goal contributions, specifically 16 goals and 5 assists. He had officially cemented himself as one of the most dangerous players in all of Europe. Which brings us to Section 3, the shadow of Neymar. You see, despite all this massive success in Spain, whenever he throws on that iconic yellow Brazil shirt, he carries the weight of the man who holds the hollowed number 10. Stacking up their first 359 European games side by side, there's an undeniable statistical gap in Neymar's favor. Vinícius grabbed 119 goals, 84 assists, and 12 titles. But Neymar? At that exact same milestone, he had 223 goals, 129 assists, and 21 titles. It's a huge numerical difference that Vinícius is constantly measured against. And this contrast extends right into the national team. Neymar holds a Confederations Cup and an Olympic gold medal for Brazil. Vinícius, on the other hand, has had some frustrating performances at major international tournaments and is actually still hunting for his very first piece of international silverware with the senior team. Let's jump to Section 4, leading the national team. The 2026 World Cup in the United States represented a massive, pivotal shift. Picture the scene. You've got a 34-year-old Neymar on the sidelines, visibly hobbled by a calf injury, trying to coach from the bench, while huge swaths of the crowd are still wearing his jersey. Meanwhile, Brazil is now managed by Carlo Ancelotti. Yep, the same guy who unlocked Vinícius at Madrid. The stage was perfectly set for Vinícius to assert himself. And man, did he deliver. When a lackluster Brazil desperately needed a spark in their World Cup opener against a tough Moroccan side, he stepped up. In the 32nd minute, he found a pocket of space in New Jersey, cut inside, and just blasted an equalizer past the keeper. Exactly when his nation needed him most, he was a relentless danger. Finally, let's look at Section 5, a legacy beyond football. This is where his story goes way past the pitch. Always remembering his roots, he set up the Vini Jr. Institute. His charity launched an educational app called BASE, which actually uses soccer terms to make basic learning fun for kids. He even provided cell phones to his own former elementary school so the students could access it. And on top of all that, he has stepped up to fund free legal support for victims of racism.
Now, it's crucial to mention that this incredible philanthropy was born out of profound personal pain. As he found success, he endured severe, horrific racial abuse from fans, most notably during a May 2023 match at Valencia's Mestalla Stadium. He even had a Spanish agent go on national TV and tell him to stop monkeying around when he did his celebratory dances. Just completely awful.
But his response to this hatred, it was incredibly mature and powerful. He smiled wryly right into a camera and said, "The happiness of a Black Brazilian victorious in Europe probably bothers more." He insisted he had zero plans to stop dancing. And that resilience right there highlights exactly why he is viewed as an absolute hero to so many kids around the world. His ongoing battle against racism, along with his staggering career arc, are all permanently chronicled in his May 2025 Netflix documentary, Vini Jr. It gives us unprecedented insight into his struggles, and while it drew some controversy, with Valencia CF reportedly exploring legal options over how they were portrayed, it absolutely cemented his role as a leading advocate against racial discrimination in global sports. So looking at his wild trajectory from a heavily burdened 16-year-old to a Champions League winner and fierce civil rights advocate, will Vinícius Jr. ultimately be remembered more for his unmatched brilliance on the pitch or his relentless, courageous fight for equality off it? It's a legacy that is still actively being written, and it is absolutely fascinating to watch unfold. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today.